Hello everybody and welcome. I'm your host Captain Awesomeness, and today I am back at G&J Kartway for the last race of the season. This is race number 14. I have had a few races in between the last video and this one, but unfortunately I didn't have much to show you guys just because of the fact that I have involved myself in a lot of crashes, and crashes are something nobody should be fond of. In any case, up to this point, I have yet to finish a single race, and unfortunately, because of that, I did feel kind of down and out. It's just how it goes. It's a natural part of basically having this kind of ebb and flow, you know, in terms of emotions when it comes to racing. In any case, this is the last race at G&J Kartway, which would be part of the actual championship series. Obviously, I'm not expecting to win anything, but at the same time, you know, I want to be able to finish one race, so here's to hoping that happens. As far as the kart's concerned, the kart is doing pretty well. We just had warm-ups a little bit ago. We've just finished our driver meeting, and we're waiting on our qualifiers. So not much to say in terms of, you know, setup issues or anything of that sort. It's just more of a driver-oriented problem, which is me, of course. I just got to figure a way out to go around drivers without crashing into them and injuring myself. As you guys might have seen in a reel that I kind of uploaded about a month ago or so, I injured my left wrist pretty damn good. I mean, I had this guy in front of me who spun around. I had nowhere to go. I crashed right into him. I tried to brake, but it just wasn't going to work out. It's pretty quite evident from, you know, the footage. So having said that, I ended up in a situation where basically my chest hit the steering wheel pretty hard, and then my left wrist got twisted kind of weird. So that pain was horrible when it happened, and it kind of lasted for a few weeks. So I kind of put myself out of racing altogether until I felt 100%. So luckily, right at the very end of the season, I am in good enough shape, I feel, to be able to race without feeling any kind of major pain or any other issue. Again, the kart is doing pretty well. Like I said, I just need to work on tire pressure, stuff like that, to get it to stick a little bit stronger around turn one. But other than that, nothing to complain at all. As the season ends, though, there are still a couple races that are happening. There's another race that's happening right after this one, the very next day, which I'm unfortunately not going to be able to attend, which is the charity race. It goes towards a good cause. I have some other plans, so I won't be able to do that. But there is a race at a different track at MCC on October 28th. So it's called Kartoween, and it is basically a Halloween with karting. And in that particular situation, the good thing about that race is that we collect, you know, toys and goodies and stuff like that for kids. So all the more happy to do that. And I'm also going there because it is MCC. I've only done a single session, and I did that the year before in 2022 when I was racing for Vets, and that's their camp right there. So I want to do it just because I want to be able to get myself a little bit more familiar. They use a different tire. Of course, the configuration is different there. But for next year, I'm going to be frequenting that place, G&J still, of course. And then I'll be going to Whiteland and Newcastle, and of course Pit Race, and maybe other tracks that are supposed to open up. So we'll see what will happen with that. Anyway, just wanted to let you guys know what's going on right now with all of this mess. I am going to get ready here for qualifiers pretty soon, and yeah, you know how it goes with my sessions. I'm going to put commentary, and if I remember at the end of the race while I'm still at the track, I'll tell you how my day went. So going into the qualifier, I kind of felt like I had a good kart, like I mentioned, but I was kind of sort of trying to also figure out if there's any changes I can make. Right now I'm here behind Racing for Vets number 4. This is Chad Kunkel. He's still learning, so he was kind of getting in my way, and I needed to get a good lap time as quick as I could. This is lap 2, and I'm just wanting to just be fast, and I know I'm faster than him, so what can I do to get around him is all I'm thinking, so that I can get something clean in. You're only gonna get about maybe 5 minutes to get your best lap time, so I had to try to hurry up. So luckily he kind of went a little too sideways, and I was able to get in front of him, and this gave me an idea as to what my pace really would be like. I'm just focused on trying to be fast. That's it. I'm not thinking anything else at this point after passing Chad there, and I'm kind of starting to get a good feel here. Like I'm seeing that the back is still not sticking around. It wants to kind of give way, as you just saw there, and I'm just hoping that I can try to still make something out of this. So going into the end of lap 3, I'm like, all right, let me make some changes
And I do so, at least I think I do, and it's basically me just kind of working on my braking, my throttling, and trying to come up with a way that keeps me planted somewhat, because that's what's important here. And it is a small layout, so my gearing is actually just perfect for this particular layout. It's just a matter of, again, making sure the rear doesn't come out too much, and I think I kind of have it down pat here. At least I'm feeling pretty confident. Little did I know that this wouldn't be all that great, but still, I'm trying to muster something out with what I've got, and at this point, I'm just happy with the fact that I'm able to get a 38.7, even if it's not all that, fast.
All right, so with the qualifier done with, not really exactly a spectacular performance, and I can't blame it on anyone but myself. I did, I think, a best lap time of about 38.7, and there were guys who were in the high 37 seconds. So, related to all the top 5 guys, I'm definitely quite a bit behind, a full second behind, which is a huge thing in karting. Being a few tenths behind is one thing. I'm like half a second behind 4th place. Could I have done better? Probably, but I don't know. I know this much, that I have been going into this nervous because of, again, previous stuff. So I got to get past that. But really, in the end, the kart does feel good. I have no complaints about that, but I got to do better. So now that we're in the pre-final, I have to do something about getting a good position. So climbing up from 14th, I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but got to do something. So hopefully things work our way, and yeah, let's see how things go. But overall, still enjoying it. The funny thing is, it's like 80 degrees here in Camden, Ohio, which is close to Cincy, about an hour away, and back home in Cleveland, it's barely 75 or maybe 74. I don't know. It's a lot colder than here is what I'm getting at, and it's probably over 80 degrees at this point. So yeah, I'm just full on, sweating out and all that. At this point, since we're waiting on the pre-final, everybody's kind of doing last minute checks on their kart. So this way that, when you go into the pre-final, you are well positioned. Now, this is a 10-lapper, so that means I have to make a few changes to the kart so that my tires don't come on too early and then kind of peak out early and then lose their traction. So I'm going to work on that, maybe see if I need a couple of alignment changes as well. I'll figure it all out, but so far so good. So let's get on to the pre-final and kick some butt.
All right, so let's get into the pre-final here. Now, this view that you see here, this is with us all stacked up ready to start. We've already gone around twice and the race director didn't like it, so we're hoping this third time being a charm, it'll be great. Obviously you can see a front and rear view, and it'll come to an importance here as and when I start discussing this race. But anyway, here we are. We get a good launch. At least I think I did, but not so much. I'm not feeling too hot with it. I'm behind number 21, Tom Eastham. I've got number 72 that I just passed. And then I've got Rob Helton in number 511. I think it's 511, 517. Anyway, I don't get a good turn into turn 3, and that allows for number 72 to get ahead of me. I try to find an inside where I'm behind Tom, but it just didn't work out. That train was too slow. 72 slots in again, and I'm just hoping that I can kind of get a good pace. I don't want to screw up too much, but I already know that I am faster than at least a couple of these guys, so it's just a matter of making sure I keep my lines up. I don't try to touch them like I just did. Number 72 here. Because the thing is that if you touch them, it kind of really messes up your pace, so you don't want to do that. You want to try to get ahead of them. But nonetheless, I did touch them more than once, and they kind of also shut the door on me on turn 1, so I'm behind, just kind of looking for a good path basically to pass them. I know I can. I just have to time it right and find the right place. Not to mention I have to also worry about people behind me, so there's always that as well. It never ever goes away, the challenge of having to figure out how to beat the guy in front of you and how to make sure the guy behind you does not get to pass you. But here I am. I touched 72 again, but hey, I can do anything about that there. In the middle of a turn, all you can do is just hope that when you touch them, you don't go sideways. I am beginning to feel the rear starting to come off, so I gotta kind of take it easy, but at the same time, I have this sense of urgency. I started in position 14, so I really need to gain positions so that I have somewhat of a respectable position to start in at the final, because the final is where if I'm not able to get around all of these slow guys now, then it's really going to kill me later on. So just focused and trying to make sure I don't make any mistakes. Mistakes will always cost you. But anyway, here I am behind number 72 again, and yeah, they've taken a pretty good line, so I can't really attack them just yet. I'm just looking, not only at them, but also at the guys in front of them. Tom is not defending his line very much, so I don't know what's up with that, but he and I talk. He's not very aggressive. He just wants to be able to make it through a race, and I don't blame him. I'm a little too aggressive. People know that about me at this point, but not to the point where I'll actually purposely, hit someone or push them off. Nothing like that. It's just they know that I'm aggressive. So anyway, here it is. The magical point that I'm looking for is 72. I get to pass by because they hit the turtle going into the straightaway. So now Tom is my next target. Tom knows I'm behind him. He already got a little bit of a glimpse, and he gets out the way just in time for me to pass him. My focus now is 5'11", Rob Helton. Amazing dude. I love this guy. Always positive personality. It's amazing to be with him, just to have a conversation with him. Yeah, I got into a crash with him earlier in the season, but again, that was then. This is a different day, so gotta look at the bigger picture that everybody is here to be to have a friendly race, really, but then at the end also not cause any problems for anybody. Anyway, I think I have a good run on 5'11 here, but just not enough to make it through them just yet on turn one, so I'm going to wait for another opportunity. In the meantime, I'm seeing a little bit of fighting going on up front, so that's always good news for me. That tells me that, I don't need to fight 5'11 in order to catch up to them, so I just need to hope that they fight and cause some kind of a rumble in between them that will get me past them. So I'm just at this point thinking through, like, all right, if this happens, what do I do? But at the same time, I also have to make sure I brake right as well. So I'm just glad that I'm able to stay behind Rob there. I kind of kissed him again in that kink. That kink I'm starting to get better at, I think. I don't know what it is. But at the same time, I also got Tom to worry about, because as you can see, he doesn't really, let go of me, so to say. I have been giving him a pretty good tow. So there's always that relevant quotation mark threat behind you, so you have to make sure that you don't open up any spots against the guys who are behind you, but you also have to make sure that you're looking for spots to pass the guys in front of you. So as I mentioned again, this is just the way it works. It's kind of a chess game, only you're not playing on a board. You're trying to think of where to do when and what. But I'm seeing an opportunity here to pass Rob, but I'm just too far behind. So I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm kind of getting towards the end of the race here. So if I don't do anything now, then I ain't going to be able to do nothing in the second last lap. So at least I know this much. I've gained some positions. I just don't know how many. There's always some karts who either end up, DNFing because of mechanical issues, crashes, whatever. And then, of course, you pacing yourself to get around people. I'm kind of getting to accept that, I might not be able to pass Rob, but we'll see. Rob does something that I haven't seen him before. He takes the inside line here, so he obviously doesn't want me to pass, or I think he doesn't know. I don't know. He's focused at the front, so what does he know is happening behind him? Maybe he is thinking that, okay, I've been touching him so much, that may be giving him the message that he better take the defensive line. So kudos to him to realizing that this was going to happen, because, man, you guys can see I am on him. And I just want to find a way around him some way, somehow. I'm taking a wider line out here. I know that I'm fast enough to not really lose from having a close distance from him. I just got to capitalize on something. Here I see another opportunity, and I go on the inside while he stays on the outside. This is the last lap, so I got to do something here. I am able to pass him, but I went in too hot, braked too late, and now I'm way too slow going through here. I was all over the place, fishtailing. That gives Rob the edge, but then from behind, Tom kind of helps me get a boost, and I'm like, all right, well, it is the last lap. Miracles can happen still, but will they really happen? I'm not too sure at this point. And again, it is like the very last section. This is where I had a crash before with Rob, and I did not want to really do a repeat of what had happened earlier in the year. So at this point, I'm good with whatever position I get. Little did I know that I actually gained 3 positions, so from 14th, I was 11th. Okay, so let's just go straight into the final. I'm happy at 11th. I've got Rob in front of me in 5'11", to the right, and then to the left is Scott Galladay, number 11. Real awesome dude also. I love this dude, and I'm going to miss him. He's actually not going to start next year. He's going to be racing elsewhere. But anyway, here we are. We're off to a start. I've got Tom to my right. You can't see him here, but I'm going to be basically making sure that I'm, kind of sort of out of that mess that just happened there. 303 is going to be a key element of discussion here shortly, but let's see what we do here. I kind of get shut out by Scott there, and Scott still keeps kind of sort of a lead on me, and I'm like, all right, whatever. We'll figure this out later on. Right now, I just gained a lot of positions. Now, what do I do to stay ahead? And without even really giving much thought, I kind of screw up, and I almost gave 303 my spot. And he will get that spot here in a second, you'll see. But nonetheless, huge gap now between Scott and me because the rear just did not work out. I think I messed up on tire pressures, and now I'm fishtailing everywhere. But that just means that I have to wait a little bit longer than everybody else for my tires to come on. I just need for them to build a heat so that I can kind of stick to the tarmac, and hopefully we'll kind of do what we can. But nope, still nothing happening. I'm just all over the grass here. So now I'm too slow, I have no choice. 303 just takes that pass, as anybody should. So now I'm just kind of cursing at myself, but at the same time, I gotta remain calm. This is a long race, 17 laps, even with a short configuration. I'm gonna tell you guys, this will kick your butt. I don't care who you are. So at this point, I'm kind of sort of keeping it real with myself. Like, okay, dude, you messed up here, fine, but what are you gonna do about what you've got in front of you? So with that, I kind of sort of take a sneak peek behind me. There are people who are right up on me, but I'm trying not to let that, even cloud my judgment. Now, I wish I had my rear view here for you guys to see, but unfortunately I lost the recording. It just did not record well. File corrupted. What are you going to do? Modern day first world problems. Anyway, so 303, that's Brian Ray. He takes a peek behind. I think he's an Air Force veteran. If I'm not, Brian, if you're watching this, sorry if I messed up, but I think you have some kind of connection to the Air Force. Nonetheless, fellow veteran, and I'm more than happy to race with veterans all the time and work with them. But Brian is kind of going away in the distance there. I'm just losing pace everywhere because my rears are starting to talk to me. They're not working at all. I'm just fishtailing everywhere, and I'm wondering what the heck is going on. I was just fine in the pre-final, so what's happening in the final? So I'm trying to shrug it off, but I'm also listening to what the card is saying. So I need to do something different. So the only thing I can do is brake a little bit different and make sure that I can keep the rear under control. The more you slide, the more speed you lose. That means you're slower, and of course your lap times are not going to be anywhere near ideal. I already kind of know that I have a problem with that anyway because of the fact that, as I told you guys, I was in the mid 38s to high 38s. So the faster guys, the fastest top 5 guys being in the 37s. So that already is telling me everything I need to know. But nonetheless, I'm hoping that some kind of miracle, and miracles don't happen, but miracles are sometimes the only things that you can think of while you're racing. The other part is, because this is such a long race, I'm already beginning to feel a little fatigued. The fact of the matter is that it was 80 degrees, but at the same time, it wasn't very ideal. I don't know how to explain it, but it took the tires a little bit longer than usual for them to kind of start cooking up, getting sticky enough to help me kind of stay planted to the road. But I was kind of sort of also kind of understanding that this is not going to work the way I need for it to work. It's just that the tires weren't holding, so I had to modulate my braking a little bit. In any case, at this point, again, I'm kind of halfway through. I'm looking at my Micron. It's telling me a lot about what my speeds are, what my lap time is, and what lap number I'm in. So keeping that count, I'm like, all right, let's build a pace. Let's brake a little earlier, and I started to do that here. And then let's get into the throttle a little later. That way, at least I'm going where I need to go directionally, even if I'm going slightly slower. So I might be able to affect my lap times a little. So I don't get to see the delta like you guys get to see now. I only get to see it at the end of the lap. So I don't know that if any of what I'm doing is actually going to work, but obviously you guys can see that, yes, I am beginning to get faster and faster. Now I just need to make sure that I get fast enough to where I can pass the guy in front of me. But this will never happen with the way the distance is. So I'm kind of already giving you guys a little bit of a hint that, okay, something does happen, and it will. It's just that I chose to actually show you this whole race since this is the last race of the year, and I think it's a good way for you guys to kind of see realistically, first of all, how much work you're doing when you're trying to turn, when you're trying to, gather up pace, when you're trying to be defensive with the guys behind you. So then on top of that, also getting a feel of what the cart's telling you, because things develop with the way the cart responds. So that's another thing that you guys also need to look into, as in when you begin karting with real go-karts. These are not rentals, so these talk to you very differently than the rental stuff. The rental carts well, first of all, they don't go this long. Then the other part is that their maintenance is not the same. You are responsible for your own maintenance, and they're much heavier, and these things are way lighter, and you're pushing them way harder. So it's something that you guys kind of need to keep in mind as and when you start to develop an interest in real karting. And I call this real karting because there's nothing like it at all. These things, oh man, I can't even begin to give you the proper words for it, but I am hooked, and I've been hooked for a reason, going 2 years strong, whatever. Now I see a yellow light, that's because a bunch of cars start crashing into each other. Something's happened, we don't know what it is, but I do see that Ron Swift, Triple O, gets passed up by 303 Brian Ray, so something's up, we just don't know. But Brian then hits a curb because another car gets out of the way, then another car gets out. So we're like, okay, great, this is kind of a good thing, right? And it was. What had happened was so many of the crashes happened that ultimately I accelerated from position number 11 to, according to Race Monitor, it shows 7, but I know I was number 6 here, and I needed to pass 303 in order to get to number 5. Now, one of the things is that we are also going to start hitting a crowd of people who are not actually part of the lead. They're actually the ones who we are about to lap. So these are all tail enders that we gotta somehow find a way around. But I'm looking at who I have in front of me. I've got Ron Swift, who's one of the faster drivers. Brian Ray is definitely pretty good. I haven't actually raced him very much, so I can't really say much. We've just had, small talk conversations kind of things, but it'll work out, I think. Number 86, I don't know who that is. I'll have to look at Race Monitor to figure out, but they just made a pass like no other, so that tells me it's somebody who is up front. I'm thinking that's Randall Pierce, but I don't know what his number is, so I don't want to make any assumptions at all. But I do know that he just passed me like I was just sitting there, not even moving. Nonetheless, they will find a way around. Obviously, Ron Swift has found a way around 303, and now it's just a matter of me trying to find some kind of a pace and stay with all the fastest guys up there. So this is looking good. I'm like, all right, well, this is something I kind of wanted to end on a high note with, which is what this is leading up to. You can see the race director also waving a blue flag. So that's for all those tail enders like we're talking about. And here's the one of, well, 2 of them. Jennifer on the right, whom I just passed right now. And then you've got, I don't know who that gentleman's name is. I know who he is. I get to talk to him every now and then. He's pretty quiet, but pretty nice guy in the red suit over there, as you can see on the right, number 17. So I got to find a way to pass him, but yeah, this kind of messed up. I thought I was going to be able to make a clean pass, but I do get past Brian Ray, and this is where the key moments start to come up now. I know that I'm towards the end of the race, so this is a good sign. I have been able to make it past him. Just got to keep this pace. Just got to follow them boys in the lead, and I'll be good to go, right? And that's where I'm just, this is also the point where I was breathing heavy. So I can tell you this, that I felt like I just could give up just now, is how tired I was from racing as aggressively as I did, and finding these nooks and crannies around the slower guys and just getting lucky with position. So for me, just the fact that I am up this far, man, oh man, oh man, I don't know what to tell you guys. This is a great feeling. But one thing that's happening is the rear is starting to really move on me, and I'm like, man, I better be careful. So as I go in here, I tap the brake, and yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is not working out. Something's weird. The back just wouldn't want to stay at all. So I knew I overcooked the tires, and as you can see, I just go way wide. But now I have to still make that pace some way, somehow. It is the end, after all, just getting close to it. I'm just feeling super tired. I'm just hoping to just see that white flag get waved up. That is all I need. But the signal right now is for the second last lap. So I've got 2 more laps to go. That is all I need. And then I can go home and celebrate and say, okay, Finally, I was able to finish a race. I'm feeling super happy that it's about to end. I tapped the brake and this is what happens. Oh, that hurt. And that was number 303, Brian Ray, who hit me there. Not his fault. I just tapped the brakes. I couldn't go anywhere. And now you see that the cart's also struggling. I'm like, something is off. It's missing or something. I don't know what the heck is going on. So I just pull off to the side and just that's it. I DNF once again. And here you can see me kind of, as soon as I end this, talk about the mess that just happened.
Well, the inevitable happened. That's all there is to it. I'll talk to you in just a second. Okay, now that I've had a couple minutes to sit down and catch my breath and all that stuff, I guess I'm consistent at least. I started off hot, I thought, in the sense that I was able to get around a couple of guys starting from 11th place. And because of crashes and other things, I was able to make it to 5th place. And I was like, man, this is good. I'm going to stay on it. I'm going to stay on it. And of course, because I overcooked the tires, I didn't anticipate. I mean, I felt that I had done so because when I came out of turn 1, the rears did not like hold on like they typically do. So I knew that that would be a problem. But as you see, I just tapped the brake. I don't really even hit them hard, and lost the back. And then of course 303, who was behind me, crashed right into me. Not his fault. He had nowhere to go. What's he gonna do? And that was that. But as a result of all of that, I do want to say this, that I did not get injured, but the cart is not doing too hot. So let's have a look here. You've got the side pod that's all kinds of messed up, and I think something's happened in the front. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. I heard some kind of weird play, but really the biggest concern is, watch the left wheel. You see this? That, my friends, is a bent axle. So the good part is that I do have another axle. The bad part is I'll have to look at everything else as well as to what's wrong with it. And then this bent axle, I can actually get it fixed for a reasonable amount of money. So I'll have to see what I want to do, if I even have the energy to want to actually go through with, you know, going to Cartoween and all that, or do I want to completely tear it down and be done with the year. So remains to be seen, but I'm still strongly leaning on the side of actually making it to Cartoween. So there's that. In any case, as much as I'd like to be all wisdom-like, right now I'm of course not happy that my entire season just went this way, that I did not get to finish a single final race. You know, yeah, of course I finished a pre-final or qualifiers, but the final's where it's at, in my humble opinion. And if I don't get the opportunity to finish there, then that means that I need to work on a lot. So there's that. But nonetheless, besides all that, you know, I got to see the positive side, because there's a lot of positives. The fact is that I am thankful for the fact that I have an opportunity to do something not a lot of people get to do. You know, go-karting, pursuing my passion in general. It's not just this, many other things. You know, being with the Racing for Vets and the Ohio Valley Karting Association community. It is amazing. It's not a huge track here. Everybody's kind of like family, in the sense that there's no rivalries per se. All the rivalry remains on the track, and when people come out the track, everybody's good friends, and that's how I want it. So all in all, great year still. I'm glad that it was hot out, even though the morning started out a little chilly. And yeah, let's see how, you know, the next year looks like. I do have a lot of plans for next year in terms of, you know, where I go race, but let's see how things work out in terms of how my stars align, and if my plan actually makes it to fruition. So there's that. In any case, guys, that is all I have. It's time for me to pack up. I got to drive back home. I am not staying here to the next day. They actually have a charity race, like I mentioned before, but yeah, I just can't do it. Nonetheless, if you have anything, guys, let me know. Again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys at the next Apex or next something. I don't know yet. But thanks again, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.